Hello everyone. Happy snow day-ish. Anyway, this is going to be talking about lesson 71 today. Okay, I keep trying to look at the camera over there, but it's actually over there, so whatever. It doesn't matter. So I've got lesson 71 here. It's on page 433. Finding the whole group when a fraction is known. Okay, that's what the title is. I don't know if it's a movie title I would have bought tickets for, but that's what they call it. So anyways, we're going to jump into example 1, which is actually on the next page, 434. And we've done a lot of problems like this. Some of you love them, some of you hate them. It's very similar. It's one of those diagram problems. Okay. So example 1, top of page 434, for those of you that are following along in your book, which is all of you. When Sean finished page 51 of his book, he was 3/8 of the way through his book. His book had how many pages? Okay, so he's 51 pages in. That's how many he's read, right? Which is 3/8 of the way through the book. Okay. And so they want to know, okay, if 51 pages is 3/8 of the way through, how many more pages are there, right? Or how many pages in all is actually what's being asked. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, and I'm erasing that just so I have more space. We're going to create a diagram. If you're following along in your book, you can see, okay, so 51 is 3/8. And so if we think about a diagram, remember how we're doing this? I'm going to draw a picture, a diagram, and I'm going to divide it into 8 pieces. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Those are not 8 equal pieces, but you know the drill. You know they're supposed to be, so we'll do our best. Okay. We don't know how many total pages there are, but we know that 3/8 is 51. Okay. And we can actually figure out how many would be in each of those sections by taking 51 and dividing it by 3. Some of you can do that naturally in your head because you're super smart. I'm going to write it out here. 3 goes into 5 one time. 2 left over. 21 remaining, so that's 17, evenly. Which means, okay, so 3 parts of the 51 looks like that, which means all of these can be 17. See how we came up with that? And so now, so the question asks, his book has how many pages? Okay, so now that we know that each part is worth 17, it's just a matter of saying 17 times the 8 parts. Excuse me, that should be a 6, carry the 5, and we should get 136 pages. That's how many pages is in his book. Okay, that's the answer to the question. Sometimes they're going to ask you, okay, that's amazing, the book. Sometimes it'll ask you, you know, how many does he have left to read or something like that. So you have to be careful what the question asks you. But for example 1, we've done it right there. Okay. We will also discuss in this video example 2. Keep the party going. Example 2, right there in the same page there, is Sandra went from room to room. She found that 3/5 of the lights were on and 30 lights were off. How many lights were on? Okay, so we have to be careful, okay? Because it's telling us a couple different things. It's telling me 30 lights were off and 3/5 were on. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say 30 lights off, 3/5 on. And I want to make sure we recognize they're telling us 2 things that are different. They're not describing the same light. Those are off, those are on. So here's what I'm going to quick do. I'm going to make a fraction that describes the lights that were off. If 3/5 were off, 2/5 were on. is be careful because we're going to need to know that, okay? So, but 3/5 plus 2/5 is obviously 5/5. So that's all the lights. So 2/5 were off and 30 were off. Okay? And that's going to be needed as we draw our diagram in this problem. So, fifths. Again, we don't know how many total lights, but we know that 2/5, whoops, so there's 2/5, and that's worth 30. 3/5 on, 30 off. You see? And since we know this 2/5 is 30, we can divide 30 by 2 and learn that each part of those is going to be worth 15, which means everything's 15. Okay, and then we have to go back to the question. We can't just be like, oh, 15 times 5, the end, because that's not what it's asking. This is how many lights were on. So now we got to go here to on. 15, only the 3 parts of 15 we want. So the answer is 45 lights. Or on. See that? Cool. You want to know total lights, you'd take 30 plus the 45. But that